Hi there. Right, this is how to create a new set of show notes. I think we've already done this actually. Okay, so this is how to do it simple version. So first of all, we go to amazingfba.com/WordPress admin, I think it is, WP/admin, and then just wait for it to go to this login page. You need to type in the username, which I will make you a user, and your password, and log in. I'm using a Chrome browser, by the way, but it doesn't really matter which browser you use. And then instead of going to posts, that's going to be for the Amazing FBA podcast. Instead, for the 10K Collective podcast, we're going to go to podcasts, hover over that, and then click on add new. Right, so in order to know a few things about this, we've got two places. One is you're going to look on Google Drive, and the other one is you're going to look on Airtable. All right, so let me show you Airtable first. There's quite a lot in Airtable, so this isn't mainly about this. But if I'm going to figure out what the publication date is, for example, I just did an interview with John Cant, and that's due to be published, what we call a desired published date of August the 29th. Please don't do this scheduling a new post until we've actually got the status as interview done, okay? Because otherwise it's going to get a little bit confusing. By the way, those interview dates are completely wrong. It's the 4th of July today, so that was wrong. So, so do this once we've got this status at interview done and not before, and then go for the desired published date. The further out that is, the more likely that might be to change. Okay, so we're going to go for 27th and 29th of August. So the next thing you're going to need is show notes, which I'm just going to sort out now. Okay, so if you go to your Drive, again, I will share this with you, but you'll have two shared folders on Drive. One is launch, the other was content and research. So for content is where we're at now. If you go to show notes, I will upload things like what you call either the raw notes, or I will put the things that aren't Yoast optimized, i.e. they're not SEO optimized, but the grammar has been checked. So I haven't actually uploaded this yet, so I will do it now. Okay, so you can see here, I'm looking at, if you look at the 10K Collective podcast calendar, Airtable, we are looking at, I've just done it. It's the 4th of July today, as you can see from the date here. And I've just done this interview. So I want to get this scheduled as soon as possible. So we're up to date, so not behind. So the 27th of August is what I'm going for. And I've got the notes here, and we split it to 2 different episodes. I think that's actually now wrong. Let's change that. Right. So I'm going to get the show notes. So notice this is split over 2 episodes worth of show notes in one go, right? So if you scroll down, it says episode 2 somewhere. Here we go. So I want to grab the notes only for the top half. So episode 1, grab that stuff, copy it, and come over to here, the WordPress blog. This is for the 10K Collective. So I'm going to pop that in. I'm going to get rid of that because that's not the right. I'm going to get rid of the word episode 1. So what else am I going to do? So the first one is going to be titled episode 1, launching in Amazon Japan. And then with name of guest and the name of company, Rising Sun Commerce. Okay, so that's the title. I'm going to see what the save the draft. First of all, I just want to see what that's probably too big as that's probably too big for a slug. So we're probably going to change that to launching in Amazon Japan. So that's basically the keywords we're targeting. Name of the guest isn't famous, so it's not going to help as a keyword. Right. The next thing, I'm just going to keep this fairly simple. So launching in Amazon Japan is going to be the main keyword we're targeting. So we're going to have that as an H1 heading here, and there's the keyboard shortcuts are quite useful as well. The rest of it, I'm going to just keep it pretty much as it is for the notes. I'm just going to make sure that it displays okay. Just make sure you double check the spelling. I've checked most of it, but make sure you check that. If you want to use a plugin to check spelling, you get a red underlying if it's wrong. If I type the word like that, obviously that comes up with red underneath it. You could also use Grammarly, which I think is really good. So I'm just double checking whether this looks okay and just getting rid of any strange gaps. So that's the first thing. Okay. Just correcting slightly as I go, but I mean mostly you won't have it. I'll try and take more care over it. Right. Slightly bigger heading as well. The idea at the moment is to keep the momentum, the speed up fairly well. Right. One thing that you will need to think about is that I normally, if I have a 2 episode, when I interview a guest, I normally will interview them for long enough to do 2 episodes. And therefore the calls to action are normally at the end of the second episode, but I want to have them in the show notes for both episodes. So there's a call to action here. So there's a few things I could have done earlier. Let me just pause it and I'll just complete this. Right, so this is the call to action, right, at the end. And I just want to get this into the end of the show notes for episode 1. Special deal for 10K Collective podcast listeners. Okay, so okay, good. So this is so this is the call to action. Good. So what else do we need to do? So we've got the show notes. We've got a title. I'm not really bothering with the SEO side of things at the moment, just for speed. So the SEO is going to be horrible, but we'll just ignore that. What else do we need to do then? So at the moment, I'm not going to do much else except the following. So I'm going to do correct category. So we're looking at, I guess, international expansion. I'll add a new category for that. Amazon international marketplaces. I'll add that as a new category, and then you need to save draft at this point. By the way, I want to set the publish to the date from the Airtable, which is August 27th. Normally it would be 6 a.m. UK time. I'm going to save draft. And one of the reasons I'm going to save draft is because then I can actually start adding categories. So if I look at the categories now, I can see Amazon International Marketplaces is there, and then I can add Amazon Japan as a new category, and underneath place it underneath the International Marketplaces category. And again, you won't see that properly until you save draft again. some strange reason. There we go, and there it is. So I'm going to tick that. Launch, I guess it also includes product research, so I might do that. Got research, market research. Yeah, okay, I'm going to add that as well. Market research. And then again, I'm going to save the draft. And find that. Make that the primary one. Good. That's about it. I'm going to add a few tags. So I'm going to put the name of the guest in, name of the guest business. I'm going to put the main sort of keyword, launching in Amazon Japan, and break it down into bits as well. So I might put Amazon Japan, Amazon. What else? Anything else that's relevant, really. So that's about it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to that's set to publicize. We're going to ignore the Yoast readability and SEO for now, and I'm just going to set that to schedule. What we're going to need to do later is come back and link it with a podcast, but at the moment the podcast hasn't been edited, right? So we're well ahead of the game now. I've only just done the interview, so that's what we're going to do for when we're really ahead of the game. All right, thanks.